Is McTominay about to return to Manchester United? In this video, we'll be talking about the latest shock story that has come out from um, Italy, and we're going through all the article and giving you the news on what has come out about Scott McTominay. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. So, Scott McTominay has been linked with the move back to Manchester United. Let's go through the article that's come out from Centre Devils. So, Scotland's tallyman Scott McTominay has been tipped to make a shock return to the Premier League, according to reports coming out of Italy. Leonardo Gimarioli, the club's global business development officer, openly admitted that the concerns in a recent interview with Talksport. He said, "Yes, of course, I'm worried, but ultimately, especially Scott, who's a very nice guy. We're happy if we get to the next level in the next couple of years. Maybe not now, but maybe not next year, but he deserves it. It's difficult for Italian teams because the Italian league continues to lose revenue. These comments have only fueled speculation about McTominay's long-term future in Naples. Italian outlet Tutto Mercato has now claimed that the midfielder has one eye on a Premier League return. The report suggests that a Premier League comeback remains a personal ambition, with Manchester United surprisingly leading the race. For United, the idea of re-signing a player who's mature tactically and mentally abroad carries obvious appeal. So yeah, that's kind of what's been reported. Now, listen, what I would say about McTominay is while he was at United, I think he was a very underrated player. I think he chipped in with a lot of goals. He's someone who is a quality player, and I think you look at how his time at Italy has been. The first season was fantastic. He even got nominated for the Ballon d'Or, which again is a great achievement. Now this season, he has a contract until 2028, by the way. He only signed for them 2 seasons ago. This season, he started 22 out of 23 games, I believe. 6 goals, 3 assists. So, listen, he's someone who gets a lot of goals. He's someone who's a very good player. He gets what it's like to play for Manchester United. He's part of the academy. He was part of the academy at the club, and he's part of the foundation what it is to be a Manchester United player. Now, what I would say about Scott McTominay is, as I said, he's someone who gets the club. Is he the sort of quality midfielder that we need to be chasing Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues and where we want to get to? Probably not. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a decent player and he has a lot of talent. And he's proven that at United. But I think there's a reason why that door was closed, and there was a reason why he did move to Italy in the first place. I know a lot of people regretted that decision, and a lot of people didn't want it to happen. But I think it was probably the right move at the time and where United were going. And ultimately, he just wasn't favoured. And as I said, he had some good moments in United shirt. I remember the 2 goals he scored against Brentford when he came off the bench. Or the winning goal anyway, I remember. So, listen, he's someone who gets the club, he gets the foundation. In terms of quality of a player, he is a decent player. He definitely would be a cheap option and would be willing to join Manchester United. I don't think from the player side there's no question about that. Would Manchester United go out and get Scott McTominay? I think that's another question in itself. I think McTominay, as I said, he was a class player at United, but he just wasn't good enough for that. Yeah, he's played 23 matches this season, 6 goals, 3 assists. Also his age, 29 years old. He is a bit old now, and I think he is reaching that sort of age in his career where he's not getting any younger. And I think United's kind of ethos and things, they want to sign, yes, Premier League proven players, which McTominay is, but players who still have maybe 5 or 6 years at the highest level. For example, a 25-year-old, 26-year-old like we did with Mbeumo and Cunha, or a Saint Lamont, or a Sesko, for example. Now, as I said, McTominay, he was at the club for years, but he made it to the first team in 2016-17 season, and he had a good 7 or 8 seasons in that first team, and he was a pivotal figure in his last season at United. Last 4 seasons, he scored 10 goals and got 3 assists. Like, he's someone who, as I said, gets the club. In his first season in Napoli, he got 13 goals, 4 assists, and I think he is a decent player, don't get me wrong. I think there are both probably negatives and there probably are a few more positives than bringing him back. The fact that he gets the club, his Premier League experience, he is a good midfielder. He wouldn't demand too many wages. He'd be happy to have a squad role. I think he definitely is an improvement on Ugarte, in my opinion. I think he's a better player. I just don't think Manchester United will utilise him in his best position. I think he is a goal scorer. You have to play him towards goal, and United were playing him in a midfield deep line pivot with Fred. McFred, we all know about that famous combination. So, listen, I think McTominay, if he is to come back to United, he's someone who would get welcomed. Do I want it to happen? Probably not. I think he's a player who, his chapter was over at United, and he had some big parts to play, I don't know if he was in the team that won the Europa League, but he was definitely in and about the squad that won the Europa League. He obviously had a big part to play in the FA Cup win. So, Yeah, I think he and the Carabao Cup as well. So he's someone who again has the utmost respect, and I think he's someone who you see him as a United. I wouldn't say quite legend, but he's someone who will be remembered as a top level player, and he put his heart on the pitch for Manchester United. And I think it was a good bit of business actually letting him go for 30 mil. But then you look at how Manchester United replaced him. They replaced him with the wrong guy, in my opinion, in Ugarte. I don't think he is a bet. I think McTominay is better than Ugarte, but let's see what happens there. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, just to kind of wrap up, there's been some more talks about the managerial stuff, and apparently I'll talk about this actually. Manchester United targeting a wing back. Over the summer, the club really liked Grimaldo, but no approach was made. Marcus Llorente and Munoz were names linked with Manchester United for the right hand side. Listen, obviously this was kind of linked to kind of when Ruben Amorim was here. What I would say on that is I think we are in need of more of. I would say we're in need more of a left back. Actually, no, it's equal in my opinion. I think we're equal in need of a left back and a right back. I think at right back we have two players in Delo and Mazraoui who. Listen, I think Delo under Carrick has been very good and his performances have actually been alright, to be fair. He started every game, he's looked good, he's looked alright defensively. But I think we just need more from a fullback. I think Mazraoui, what is he, 28? I think he is a decent player, has a lot of experience, hasn't had a full chance yet under Carrick. But I still think we can improve in that position. And you look at some of the players, Munoz, for example, Prem experience, also is, I think, 30 or 29. You look at other sort of right backs, Livramento, someone I like a lot. I don't think he's going to leave Newcastle in the place that they're at, but I liked him even when he was at Southampton. I thought he was a very good player. Coyote, someone from Brentford. I mean, imagine having that long throw as your right back. He's a good player as well. I'm trying to think of any other right backs in the league or in Europe that are decent players. I can't think of many off the top of my head, but there are many good right backs out there. And I think potentially next summer, I know a left back is something that's been more talked about. I think Dorgu going forward when he comes back from his injury, he will be utilised more as a left-sided attacker, depending on who the manager is. But I think he would be used in more forward positions. Then you also have the Malacia situation. I think Malacia is someone who, listen, he wanted to go in January, but over that Dorgu injury, United decided to keep him. Shaw, again, I think it's time for Shaw to go, really. I think a great servant to the football club, but if we're being honest, he's been at the club since 2014 when he made his debut September, and I think it would be a perfect chance now in the summer to potentially get rid of him, depending on how, I think he will get called up for the World Cup, but depending on how the World Cup goes. So that's that on the left back, right back situation. Now the last thing, Manchester United are quietly thrilled with Carrick's impact. Wilcox on operations knew Carrick could force his way into the permanent manager talk, and probably they are delighted he's done exactly that. Listen, as I talked about earlier today, I think right now all the doors are kind of and all the roads are leading down the path to Michael Carrick, in my opinion. I think the fact that Ancelotti signed a new deal with Brazil, the fact that Tuchel has extended his stay, the fact that De Serbi's not looking and he's trying to be out, he wants to be out of a job for a while. I think all the roads are leading down to Carrick. And listen, if he does well, it would be deserved, in my opinion, for Carrick to get the job. I don't think many United fans would agree with that. As I said, there are both positives and negatives of keeping Carrick. The fact that he gets the club, he would have been at the role before. He's a decent manager. Then you also have the negatives. The fact that, listen, he would be a yes man. And he would be someone who, if he doesn't do great immediately, after he does get the permanent manager, then would be called to get sacked. So it is a difficult situation United find themselves in. I'm hopeful. I don't think it will happen, but I'm hoping they do make the right decision, whoever that manager is. Obviously, we all have our personal preferences. Obviously, mine was Luis Enrique or Tuchel, but obviously they won't be coming to the club. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on the situation. Scott McTominay, would you want him to come back to Manchester United? Apparently Man City want Coyote, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments over that situation.